Welcome, everyone, to the Commentary Podcast. I am your host, Pat Brennan. Today on the podcast, we are going to be watching The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It came out in 2011. It is directed by David Fincher, written by Steve Zalian, and it stars Daniel Craig, Rooney Mara, Christopher Plummer, Stellan Skarsgård, and Robin Wright. It tells the story of Blomqvist's investigation to find out what happened to a girl from a wealthy family who disappeared 40 years ago. He recruits the help of Solander, a computer hacker. Joining me for this episode is a guest we have actually had before for another Fincher movie, for Zodiac, Martin Padilla. I will once again be dropping his socials in the channel, so please go follow him wherever he's at on Twitter and Letterboxd. Now, because I own every single movie ever made, I am going to be watching the Blu-ray copy I have of this, but it is currently streaming on Paramount Plus. You can also rent it on Vudu for $4, Apple TV for $4, and on Amazon for looks $3.50. I say we kick things off because this is going to probably be a long one. So I'm going to be pressing play, and I hope you will as well. Pressing play on Girl with the Dragon Tattoo in 3, 2, and 1.
That Columbia logo looks extra pretty here.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the podcast, sir. Your second
Thank
one.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Second one, second Fincher.
David Fincher, yes. First one was Zodiac.
I'm just going to have you on for every Fincher, I guess.
I did want to do Social Network, but I think you already got someone booked for that, don't you?
I think so, yeah. But if they can't do it, I know who to call.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I've been rewatching Game of Thrones recently, and I forgot he's in this.
Oh, yeah.
We got Christopher Plummer. Amazing as always.
R.I.P. It's one of the best.
I love this opening title sequence.
Oh, it's so good.
It's always so cool.
I think when they were doing like scouting for the movie in Sweden, like I think this song, like the Led Zeppelin version, obviously, came on, and he heard like the opening lyrics, and he was like, "Wait, that's like the exact character that she's portraying." Like the opening lyrics to this, and in the location, "Come on down to the ice and snow."
It's too good.
So then he wanted to like have this designed as in like this is like her mind. This is how her mind like thinks, like how dark it is too.
I read somewhere about this sequence and how long it took to do, and I can't remember how long it was, but I remember when I heard it, I was like, "That is insane." But also,
Yeah,
I get it. Like, it
I'm sure
looks
it
very
took
detailed and
like
very.
6 months. I probably minimum 6 months to do.
We don't get intros like this anymore, man.
I know. I think the only person that still does it is uh Guy Ritchie. He always
Oh
still
yeah.
kind of does like some title sequences.
You see The Killer yet?
I have liked it
Yeah,
a lot.
so you do get like a kind of a sequence, like opening
Yeah,
sequence, but even
that
then
was like
it's
a
cut so short.
mix of like this and like Fight Club is what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah,
type.
yeah, yeah. Fight Club is a good way of describing it. They were just showing Fight Club at on 35 pretty close to me, and I was gonna go to it and I just missed it. Completely forgot the date.
It's so funny that Fincher is like so tired of like that movie.
Yeah, he says that he said that like it feels like he's like a looking back on like your high school years or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it's like that's like the quintessential like film bro, like that, like Fight Club, American Psycho.
Oh, it's so misunderstood, but it's
Yeah.
also like super funny.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he just like always had to like answer a question about Fight Club, and he's like, I just don't care about that movie anymore. Like, yeah.
I remember I was at work at my last job before I moved, and this guy that I worked with, like, I'll just say this: he wasn't the sharpest barb on the wire. He wasn't the he wasn't the smartest guy in the world, and he knew that I liked movies. And he goes, "You ever see Fight Club?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a great movie." And I was like, "What'd you think of the end?" He goes, "Oh, I didn't finish it." I got pretty. He said I got pretty close, but it was pretty good. And I was like, "So what part did you get to?" And he told me it was like right before the twist happened. And I was like, "You missed the whole point of that movie."
Oh, yeah. Some people, yeah. I used to have a coworker too that like watched movies and like a TV episode. Like he'd watch it like 20, 30 minutes at a time and then come back to it later. I was like, I don't know how you do that.
I
Like,
don't get people who do that. I feel like it ruins the pacing for me completely.
yeah. Like movies, obviously, like TV shows are built for that. It's like they have episodes of it, but
If it was like a 3 hour movie and someone can't sit still for a very long time, then like, okay, like I'll give you a pass there. But
Mhm.
a 2 hour movie, like just sit through it. Come on.
Yeah. It's like that's an average movie length. It's just 2 hours. Like,
Yeah.
oh, James Bond.
It's the reason he didn't come back for two and three is just because I mean James Bond took over so much of his career and like made him such a huge star.
The Yeah, and Sony didn't want to give Fincher the money to make 2 and 3 because this movie technically wasn't. I don't really. I have to look up the box office. I don't think it was like. I think it made its money back, but it didn't really make any money.
Yeah.
So they didn't see like a. Obviously, they didn't see a profit. A
Wasn't the
studio.
kind of movie that exactly attracts audiences, especially when
Yeah,
you release it on Christmas Day, I guess.
it's a feel good family movie. What are you talking about?
The feel good family Christmas movie. Which like kind of crazy to think about what's in theaters right now for Christmas. Freaking Iron Claw.
Hmm.
What else was that on Christmas? Poor Things. Ferrari wasn't like a feel good movie, but also wasn't a feel bad movie.
Joel Kinnaman right here.
You know what's crazy is that in the sequels, his character is a
Yeah,
much bigger part. So
that's why Fincher casted him because he knew like
yeah,
he's gonna be a bigger part here. I don't think he has one. He's like maybe one line later, but he's kind of just like there.
yeah. Robin Wright, dude, gorgeous, just gorgeous. Have you read the novels at all?
I have not actually.
They're pretty good. They're like one of my favorite novels like ever read. The original trilogy is anyway. I haven't read like four or five, and I don't think I ever will.
Hmm.
But the I got my girlfriend to read the first three, and she's kind of on the same page. I told her, I'm like, once you read these books, like you will never read another book that compares to this or that comes close very often. Like they're so well written.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess they're kind of like I think the Bournes are still like there's books that are still written about with Jason Bourne as the title, but obviously not the actual author because the author
Yeah.
is not alive anymore. Same with these. I think they have like other books where it's
That's
not.
unfortunate. I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool to see that they're still doing them, but at the same time, it's just like I don't know. As a fan, personally, I see the first three and I'm like, I don't want to read four and five, especially if it's written by somebody else.
Hmm.
I love her gauges that she has on. I think they're
Yeah.
so cool.
What a character design. Have you seen the Swedish films?
I have them on. I have the extended cuts on Blu-ray,
Oh,
and
nice. I
I
actually have
actually
never seen them. I have never seen them.
you've never seen them. That's
Mm.
crazy. I watched those first because when I read the book, I wanted to watch all of the movies, and I knew that this one only had the one film, unfortunately. So I went out of my way to watch those first, and then I watched this one. But
Mm.
they're not bad. They're also not on the same level as this. Like I'd say this one in terms of production value and the way that it looks, this one feels much more stylized and much more like there's a true vision behind a lot of it.
Hmm.
Whereas those just kind of feel almost like a TV movie, which they kind of were to an extent.
Hmm.
Uh, but still very good movies. Like they didn't take anything out, but they also don't add much in terms of like the first book.
Hmm.
But yeah, solid watches if you ever have the time.
Oh, Rooney.
My cat is kind of named after her and David Fincher.
Oh, really?
Rooney Finch is her name. We call her Finch, but
That's
yeah, her first name is Rooney. Her middle name is Finch, but we just call her Finch.
that's great. She comes from a very wealthy family, Rooney Mara.
Does she for real? That
Her
makes sense. Her
her
and Kate.
her grandparents on both sides. One of them created the Steelers. One of them created the New York Giants.
That makes a lot of sense.
Their dad is like the president of the Giants, John Mara. But
You see, I would have known
they have
that.
talent. They have talent though, so I love her. She's one of my
They
favorite
are
actors.
very talented. Her sister Kate is married to what's his face? Jamie Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know why. Every time I think about it, I'm like, they're married. It's like
And
just one of those
she's
facts you have to know.
yeah, and then she's with Joaquin.
Yeah, I love them together, honestly.
Actually, when the ArcLight was still around, I saw Paul Dano's wildlife film,
Yeah,
and
great movie.
it was me. I was like sitting in the theater by myself, and I like looked up. Kate Mara came around the corner, and I was like standing there, and then Rooney just followed behind her, and it was just us three in this theater. And I like sat there, like I was just like, oh my God. Like I just kept looking forward. And then they somehow like went to my row and they're like, excuse me. And I was like, oh, no problem. And they just like, thank you. And they just scooted by and sat like 3 seats next to me. And other people
That's
did
so
filter
crazy.
after, but I was like, the whole movie, I was just like, just don't look over. Don't look over that they're right. Like Rooney's right there. Like, don't look
They shot wildlife in like a pretty dingy town, pretty close to where I grew up in, called Enid, Oklahoma. And
hmm
I remember whenever they shot that, it was like all over the news. And Paul Dano was there, Jake Gyllenhaal was there, and I remember just thinking like that's crazy that they're shooting it here, just
hmm
because it's kind of a rundown town to begin with. But then also whenever I saw it in theaters, I was like, oh yeah, that's Enid, that's Enid. It was just a lot of older style looking houses there, so I guess that kind of works out for the film.
Yeah, I think during like the scouting, they wanted like obviously they're shooting it during the winter, which I was looking up. It was actually the coldest winter in like 20, 25 years in Sweden, like while they were filming, which is like
Have you seen the
classic.
featurettes that are on this Blu-ray?
hmm Like
I
this, the thing with these older like Blu-rays, and I feel like more Blu-rays don't have these besides like Nolan now, where it's like
like
this
they
thing is like
real
4
featurettes. Like
hours.
you go
Yeah,
through and you can like look for 4 hours. Yeah.
yeah,
The the Avatar Collector's Edition actually had one of the coolest things I've seen on a Blu-ray recently, and that's it's got this feature on it called like scene deconstruction and it's on the first and the second film, but it lets you look at a number of scenes in like three different stages. One of them is like the raw mocap footage, and the second one is like the film with the mocap footage kind of like embossed in it, so you can kind of see how it looks translated. And there's like a pre-rendered version of what James Cameron would see on the monitors, and it has it for like a number of scenes, and it's so cool to watch.
hmm
But that's what I mean. You wouldn't get that from like anything now.
oh yeah. But to going back to your like, have them like I guess have like a realistic look to this is like they shot these on. He uses I think he uses red cameras. Him and Cronin with because the red like the type of camera that it was like it there's shadows like if you see on his face right here, but it's not going to be like a stark drastic shadow like you would see in like a noir. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're reading the book, you probably would think this would be developed as like a noir, kind of in a way.
It feels like it when you're reading it.
So like
Absolutely.
this type of camera made it more of like a realistic setting of like Sweden where it just feels cold and like dim. The lights don't like cast big shadows. And they wanted to have this looks like there's not going to be like drastic shadows.
It works out really well, I think, for the
hmm
style, I think.
And like the setting too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Like Sweden, just like you can like feel this movie is cold. Like that's how you know it's done very well.
You
Like,
know, whenever Hateful Eight came out, and they were doing like the press tour for it, and like they were doing like the what was it called, like the Hateful Eight Roadshow or whatever, with like the you could see it on 70 mil, and there was like a whole intermission.
mhm.
I went and saw that in theaters, and there was only like one theater in Oklahoma that did it, and it didn't have any AC or like any heater, and it was middle of winter, and it was freezing.
Oh yeah, I saw that same show. It was in but I saw it in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. But
But it felt like I was part of the movie because
oh
of
yeah,
that. Like we were all just freezing so much in there.
it was a 4D theater.
Yeah, it was part of the experience.
Yeah, he actually put on weight for this movie,
Yeah,
which doesn't even
he
look
looks a
like
bit
it.
chunkier.
Because he's
Not
like, well, I'm James Bond, so it's like, who's gonna buy me be like ripped this
that he's a
James
writer.
Bond
Yeah,
figure that is a writer? Yeah, I feel like Fincher's so good at these dialogue in the car when it's on a stage.
yeah.
Because like they're obviously not driving. This dude's flying down the road. Look how fast he's going. Like, but I think his always looks so realistic.
Flying while he's driving in the snow, like he doesn't
Yeah.
care at all if he flies off.
Oh, this is my favorite shot in the whole movie when they pull up to the house. Like this whole like sequence of them going up because they used it in the teaser trailer.
The trailer for this movie is also just really ballsy.
Yeah, it's like this shot right here. I don't know. I don't know why I love it. I just love it. It reminds me of the same like shot in Shutter Island when they're approaching
Yes,
when they
yes,
land and like,
yes.
the music's like down down and like it's literally going through the gate like that.
It's funny you mentioned Shutter Island and I know exactly what you're talking about, like that exact shot.
That-
Yeah,
oh, the great
it'd be
Christopher Plummer.
it'd be so funny if they like came out after this movie came out and they were like, actually, Christopher Plummer's part was originally supposed to be for Kevin Spacey, and they replaced him at the last second.
Yeah.
They reshot all of his scenes.
They originally Daniel Craig was originally signed on, and then they were going to shoot Skyfall at the same time, so he obviously had to drop it. But then I think Skyfall got delayed, so he was like, "I can still do it." So they brought him back on because I think Brad Pitt was another. Like Brad Pitt, I think Johnny Depp was one.
Yeah, I couldn't see Johnny Depp. Maybe Brad Pitt, but Johnny Depp definitely no.
I think Brad Pitt was. I'm pretty sure he was second choice for sure. Viggo Mortensen was one, which I could
Viggo
see. I could see
Mortensen would be
Viggo.
really good, actually.
Yeah, and I think the other one was. I think it was Clooney, which Clooney can
Clooney
have that
wouldn't be
like
bad. I think Clooney would be good.
because he has that like suave like type like the charisma like the charisma as him
Oh yeah.
because he could just basically take the character of like Clooney's Michael Clayton and just put him here like it's like essentially.
Michael Clayton is so good too. Oh, I love this guy, Nine Inch Nails, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's also in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of Game of Thrones alumni in this.
seriously.
What is that? Nine Inch Nails or Radiohead? I can't hear very well.
I think it's Nine Inch Nails. That would make sense because he has a shirt
It
on.
makes sense because of the shirt, yeah. Also, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross doing the score. I think that
Oh,
would make a
yeah.
lot of sense.
I love their scores. I
Oh,
love
they're
this
so
so
good.
much.
Whenever I was watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I wasn't too big into the movie, but I remember like one of the biggest things I did love was the score.
Mm-hmm. I think this is my favorite score of theirs.
Social Network is probably mine, but this is also very good. Some of the tracks going for like 10 minutes. It's insane.
Mm-hmm. God, I just love the camera movements. They're all so perfect.
Are you watching this in your living room?
Mm-hmm.
You see, the last time that we recorded, I watched Zodiac on the projector,
Mm-hmm.
but since I had this on physical, I was like, you know, I'm gonna watch this on the OLED, so I decided to watch it in my room.
What I love about because you have the Blu-ray, right?
Yeah,
I love about the Blu-ray packaging is the DVD looks like a
yeah,
burned
yes,
DVD, and it
yes.
just says the girl with the dragon. That's so cool. Like I'm not gonna
Y-
watch the DVD, but that's so cool.
You know what other movie has like the weirdest packaging for it is just Borat.
Oh yeah, I think I have the actual like the DVD. It just says
Yeah.
Borat on it.
I mean, it's like made to like a pirated disc, and then
Yeah.
also like the packaging for it just has stickers that say like 7-Eleven, like it looks like the crappiest DVD you picked up at like a thrift store. And I bought it new like that.
I think for these like flashback scenes, like I think there's some of them where it looks like it's raining, and like sometimes looks like it's all sunny. And Fincher is like, oh, I didn't do that on purpose. It was actually raining that day, but we still shot.
We just didn't care.
He just didn't
We
care.
can we can lose another day is what happened.
Yeah. Just won best editing Oscar.
I could definitely see that.
Which is weird. I think it's the only movie to ever win best editing and be nominated for like cinematography, at least win best editing, but not be nominated for best picture of the year.
Yeah. That was a pretty stacked year though, as well.
Which is wild because it's like, how can this movie like you're saying this is the best edited movie, but it's not the best picture of the year, like in the conversation.
Well, I think a lot of the films, especially like the way it plays out, the editing is such a huge part of the way that
Mhm.
it kind of plays out. And so that might be a big reason why. We're like kind of like Anatomy of a Fall, I'd say. Like the editing is really integral to the story and how you
Oh
perceive
yeah.
everything. You saw Anatomy of a Fall, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, kind of a spoiler here for anybody listening, but when they're playing the audio in the courtroom of them like arguing and then they start throwing glass and you can hear the glass break and them like throwing things at each other, it cutting back to the courtroom, but you not knowing who actually threw anything and who started fighting first. So important, I think, to like know that like that's how the courtroom is hearing it.
Yeah.
And yet we'll never actually know who started throwing things first. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, the
perspective can do a lot, I think.
for me, my favorite Oscar like category is editing because editing to me is the most important part of the entire movie. Because you can
I
make a bad
really
performance you can make a bad performance pretty good. You can make a good performance bad, like, because of just how you edit it. Like,
who
it's all
who's your pick for best editing this year?
Oppenheimer.
Dude, I was thinking the
'Cause there's
exact same
just so
thing.
much going on in that movie, and it just flows very well.
I opening night, I remember seeing it and thinking like, holy crap, like whenever I see this again, like I'm sure it's probably gonna play out a lot better the first time you watch it
Mhm.
and you're kind of trying to catch up and seeing like all the black and white sequences you don't realize are like after.
Yeah. I love that just bright light.
Then he add all the lens flares.
Yeah. I mean, Fincher back-to-back Fincher movies won Best Editing, Social Network, and then this. Got some good editors.
This is 2012,
Ele 2011.
2011, but it won best
Yeah.
editing in 2012. Yeah.
I hate that. I always say it's 2011 Best Editing. It's like, it's from the movie from 2011. It's not the 2012. Like, I hate it.
I hate doing like thinking about who won what year because then I'll go like, oh well, the movie was released in this year, but it won this year.
Yeah.
It's just obnoxious. I understand the frustration.
Mhm.
What a suave man.
Solve My Murder or my missing my missing granddaughter.
What's his freaking name? The Skarsgård. What's his the dad's name?
Stellan Skarsgård.
Stellan. Yes, Stellan. I forgot he's in this. And I
Oh, he's so good in this.
he's so good. Yes.
He said this is I think when he signed on to this movie, he said, "It's the first time in my entire career where at night I get to go home to my bed," because he was in the
Oh
same
yeah, because he
area.
was in
Like,
Sweden. Yeah.
yeah, he's like, "I got to go home to my actual bed and not, like, being in, like, America somewhere in the hotel."
the guy that played Mikael in the Sweden or the Swedish versions of these, he died.
Yeah, Michael Nyqvist.
Yeah. He's also in Mission Impossible, the fourth one, I
Yeah,
think. Ghost Protocol. Yeah.
he's in the
I was
first
just
John
thinking about
Wick.
that. Oh
He's in the
yeah,
first John
he's
Wick.
Theon's dad.
Yeah. His daughter is actually in this movie.
Is
When
she?
they're I looked it up, it's like looking at like notes on the movie and um I think it's when they're in like a diner scene. She's like the waitress.
Oh, that makes sense. Like a
Because
little
he like
small.
found out because he had passed away. No, he didn't pass away by this time, but it was just like a nod to like that version,
Hmm.
like just referencing like the Swedish versions to be like probably go watch those movies too,
Yeah.
which I still need to do.
They're good movies. They're just a lot more detailed, I'd say.
Hmm.
A little bit
And
more of like what you see in the book is in the
yeah,
films.
and they actually made all three of them. So,
That's a bit more, yeah, I guess you could say like appealing to watch.
I mean, everyone wants like Fincher to finish Mindhunter. I'm always like, I think I want him to finish these.
Yeah. I mean, either way, like whatever Fincher comes back for, like I'll take it.
Yeah,
That being said, if we got Mindhunter or 2 and 3 of these, I'd take these.
I think he did say he probably wouldn't come back for these because it's been like 13 years now.
So long. Yeah. And then they
Yeah.
also like skipped 2 and 3, went straight to 4 with
Oh yeah.
what's her
The
face? Claire Foy.
Firefoy, yeah.
Did you ever watch that one?
I did. I saw it in theaters. It was all right.
I
I
I
kind of completely
I
forget. I
I
completely forget.
refuse to watch it.
I completely forgot what happened in it, but didn't think it was. I had no hate towards it.
I remember whenever that film released on Blu-ray, there was like a box set at like Best Buy that I saw that had like both the films, like this one and that one, and there's like the same box. And I was like, who do you think you're fooling here?
These are
Like
not the same
these
movie.
are not sequels.
Yeah. He brought his stuff. He's gonna investigate.
Oh, there's this cat that shows up. You ever heard that thing of people saying like they can't watch animals die on screen, like cats and shit like that?
Hmm.
My girlfriend can't watch cats die in a movie or else she won't watch it. And it had been so long since I read the novel. It had been so long since I even watched the film that I told her, I was like, that's one of the best books I've ever read. And so she got my copy. She read it. And I remember one day we were just sitting down and she's reading the book. And I'm assuming anybody watching this with the track has probably already seen the film, but the cat dies. And so she immediately was like, why would you have me read that? And I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I forgot the cat died. He is a cute little fellow though. Look at him.
He's like, "What's up, dude?"
He looks kind of like my other cat that's not named after David Fincher.
Like you don't need a freezer or a fridge here. You can just put your stuff outside. Like if you need a freezer, just put it outside.
Just walk outside, put it in the snow somewhere, bury it if you have to.
I always love Sony movies too because they always have Sony phones.
As
They
if
ne
they made phones, right?
they never yeah, 'cause they never have an iPhone because it's like they have to put their Sony product up, so they always have a Sony phone. Any Sony or Columbia movie, they have Sony phones.
I find it kind of funny. It's like Sony, and I can't remember which other company does it too, but 100% like they do it as well. I can't
Yeah.
remember which one it is.
I'm sure Apple TV does that. It's like you have to have an Apple phone.
You know that Larry Clark film Kids?
Mhm.
So I found that while I was in Austin at like this cool record store that has like kind of like a hybrid film section. And I pulled that up and I was like, we should watch this tonight. And my girlfriend was just like, I've read some things about that film having cat stuff in it. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, you shouldn't watch this. But it was the same thing with Gumo, which like, what's up with Harmony Korine and cats, dude?
Yeah. Loves the cats.
I don't think he does, apparently, based off of what we're seeing. I think if anything, he probably hates them.
I
Oh,
guess
that little kitty was keeping warm.
they're best friends now. I feel like he'd probably would just wake up with like already having a cold, like you're just sleeping in cold.
Oh,
Like
100%. Like I would be losing my shit the
that,
minute I woke up.
yeah. And that's the cat like freaked out right there. That definitely was not planned. The cat because he kept pulling the blanket. The cat freaked out and jumped off the bed.
The cat's a paid actor.
Yeah.
They said, "Can you jump on the blanket a little bit more?" And he was like this.
Got enough documents to go through. It takes so long.
I can't remember how long he's there in the book, or even like how long he's supposed to be. I want to say it's like a year, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I think like the movie they make it seem like it's probably a few months, at least a month.
I kind of perceive it as a few months, but I guess we'll see once we're further into this, see where we
Yeah.
feel he's at. Me and my partner do that a lot when we're watching. We were like, "How long do you think it's been since this happened? How long do you think they've been doing this?"
Yeah. Right now he's probably only like a day. He's a day in now.
Christopher Plummer sells the rich estate owner very well.
So
Love Knives Out.
I mean, you got
Same thing with all the money in the
Sound of Music.
world.
Started with Sound of Music.
Oh yeah, I forget he's in that. What else was oh no, I'm thinking about somebody else, Max von Sydow.
Mm.
They look similar though.
As they got older, they looked a lot. They looked pretty similar. Yeah. I guess little. There's a knife, dragon tattoo reunion on Knives Out for these guys.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have a scene together, but
Yeah, they're still in the same film though.
it's
That's
the
pretty
same
cool to
movie.
see. I think that's more of a nod to us like film nerds.
Yeah.
To just be like, oh yeah, they're in the same film together.
They just saw each other at the premiere.
Yeah.
I don't think Christopher Plummer probably stuck around like, when he didn't have to film. He probably was like, "Yeah, I'm going back. See you guys later. I'll see you tomorrow when's my scene at 3 p.m. I'll see you at 2:30." He's probably a guy that got in and out.
Yeah.
Didn't only needed one take.
He's such a charismatic dude too.
I love how he shoots him like so much closer in the close-ups than he does like Daniel Craig when they're interacting.
Yeah. He definitely puts an emphasis on him as a
Yeah,
person,
being
almost
like
like
he's very like direct and like Daniel Craig obviously is just like trying to figure out who he is, but he like shoots him alone too. This is one of my favorite tracks. Just like, dun, just like
I listen to this when I'm like writing or like studying or something. Same thing with like the Social Network track in general. Just
Mhm.
they have very good music that helps you focus. I've noticed. But I see this and I see the like you mentioned the best editing Oscar, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. Like this totally gets it.
You don't have any dialogue here either.
It's easy to follow because it's like you're reading it, you're almost seeing him in his perspective as like this is what he's visualizing, and it's very easy to like look at it and just put two and two together.
Mhm. This is like me in college. Just you're highlighting, but you just end up highlighting the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're just like, "Oh, I guess I just read the whole thing."
Only highlight the important things, and it's the whole
It's the
freaking
whole
page.
page. Oh, I guess I gotta know this whole page. Yeah, I always found this whole page funny because like he just highlights the whole page. Because even the editing here, like the camera just continues to move to the right.
Yeah. Almost feels like a
So
progression of
seamless.
time.
Yeah. And to me, it's all like done on the set too. Like they know how they're gonna edit it.
When I think about the like you're saying, like the camera moving right, Lawrence of Arabia does that for a lot of the movie, and it's because of that.
That's a great cut too. The lighting the cigarette to him taking the puff right there. Same character, just 50 years apart.
Hmm.
Great cut. Great transition. I think Fincher does the best like DVD commentaries too,
Oh, he does, yeah.
by
I
far.
I showed a friend Gone Girl for the first time, and I was telling him about the whole thing with Ben Affleck and the hat
Hmm.
situation, and I was easy. Like it took me 2 seconds to just put on the commentary to see how many days it was.
I always tell people if you want to learn, if you want to be a filmmaker, just listen to David Fincher's commentary.
David Fincher has some great commentary tracks. Same thing with strangely, like he has a lot for some reason, but Edgar Wright.
Hmm.
Edgar Wright for Hot Fuzz. I put it in one day just to see how many commentary tracks it had because I wanted to watch it with the commentary, and I think it was like 6 different tracks
That's awesome.
with different actors and different people. I think it was one of them was like the writers, one of them was just him, one of them was like all the cast members.
Yeah, I think this one has um Fincher doing one, and I think Daniel Craig does another one, I think, and possibly Rooney Mara. I'd have to look on it.
There's a strange one on the Social Network where it's like it's it has one with the cast and then one with Aaron Sorkin, but the one with the cast is really odd because it has all of the cast members that were clearly done in different times and they're just edited together.
Yeah. Some of the commentaries are like that. Like they'll have people go in and out. It's like they watch him at different times and they'll split the whole movie. Like this scene, like Daniel Craig will be talking, and the next scene, like Rooney Mara's talking, but they didn't do it together.
Yeah.
Or sometimes like some actors will say like, "Oh, I just went and watched my scenes. Like I didn't watch the whole movie. I just went and watched my scenes."
It kind of takes me out of it when you're watching a commentary like that, just because it's like you're saying, like they're clearly not watching it together.
Yeah, they probably would just do what I'm doing right now, just record it at home. What
Yeah.
we're doing.
I forget what else this guy is in that I've seen him in before. But since this movie, I want to say that he has not been in much.
He's probably a big like Swedish actor. I mean, it's a tough role to play.
It is. It makes me think of the kid that played Joffrey, how like no one would cast him anymore because
Yeah.
of that.
And Rooney Mara said that he's like the nicest guy. This guy, like the nicest guy in the world. Like,
Oh, he's in the New World. That's what I recognize him from.
oh yeah, he is. I feel like I
He's
should know
very.
that. One of my favorite movies.
I remember when I was watching it again recently, and I told you, I think I told you I was watching it again, but I recognized his face, and I was like, "Where do I know this guy from?" And I looked it up, and it was
He kind of
there
looks
it
like
is.
Jason Clark in a way. He's like the same facial structure.
He's a Swedish Jason Clark,
Yeah.
but yes, he does.
Oh,
New
even
World is so
the
good.
mug on the mug on the desk that says like Papa.
Papa,
Yeah.
that's sick.
Knowing what's about to come.
In hindsight, this is almost feels like evil to look at it.
Yeah. There's no like bright colors in this movie at all, really.
I think it helps it. There's really not a single moment in this film that feels where it feels like there's really any hope for anybody. I
Yeah.
think the very, very end of the film where she kind of does that nice thing for him. And even then, like it's
But then right
completely
after.
botched. Yeah. Immediately after
Yeah.
she's in with the other person. It's just like, dude, you can't have anything. Oh, good, thank you.
I would have had to walk like 5 miles uphill.
There we go. There's the Baron.
Ugh. The smile.
My
And
planet,
then it cuts to his face all black. That's so good.
my dune, my Arrakis.
I don't know how people have houses like this, or the windows are just like that. Like
I
so
know
exposed.
somebody whose house is like that.
It's just so
I
exposed.
I stayed at their house one time, never again.
I feel like nightmares would happen where I feel like I'd wake up and a serial killer would just be standing outside the window, like I'm waiting for you.
I just felt uncomfortable the
Which
whole
is
time. If you
ironic
want to
that
know
I
the
say that
truth,
because of
yeah,
who this
him.
character is.
But it makes me feel so like I'm being watched the entire time.
hmm
With a traditional like apartment or a house, you have windows, but it's like I mean you have shades. But with that, I remember thinking the whole time I was sitting down, I was like, is there someone outside? Like I just kept looking outside.
We just heard a girl scream. It's like I'm gonna go check on that. It's probably the window. No, you're psycho.
It's paranoid. He's such a good actor.
Great family of actors.
It's him, Alexander. Who else? There's the it guy. Can't remember what his name is.
One of them was in
Bill.
yeah, that's yeah, Bill Skarsgård, and then their other
Bill
brother was in
Alexander.
the other brother was in Oppenheimer and Vikings.
Which was one in Oppenheimer?
It's like they're he's like a big Swedish actor. His name's like I forget what it is.
Just look
But
up the whole
he's
Skarsgård
the I think
family.
he's like the middle one because I think Bill's the youngest.
Oh,
Great.
Gustav.
Yeah, Gustav Skarsgård, yeah. He's in Oppenheimer.
That's insane that there's so many of them that are
And
actors. Just a whole breed of them. She has that cool shirt in the movie. At some point, I can't remember where she wears it, but it says "fuck you, you fucking fuck."
oh, yeah.
That I'm like, every time I see it, I'm like, I need that. I need it.
I feel like when I watched special features, I think it was like the costume designer's like personal shirt.
That makes a
And
lot
I
of
think Rooney
sense.
Mara was like, wait, like, and Fincher was like, wait, she should wear that. I think it's when they first interact, like when he comes into her apartment.
I think so, actually. Like she's with that one girl and she puts a shirt on real fast to like open the door. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Oh, and this scene right here, because they filmed it a lot. So this last take right here, Fincher told her to nudge the girl with the coffee at like just hit her arm. Watch when she goes down here. He's like, just run into her a little bit and see what she does. And so they kept it in right there. So she nudges it. Like you literally see him talking like, yeah, next time you come down, like just kind of like nudge her arm so maybe she'll spill her coffee a little bit.
It's raw.
Like, yeah.
Respect it. Respect it. Have you seen, the featurette where he's talking about how this film kind of has to thrive on like a 5X structure?
hmm
This kind of reminds me of the way that like you get like how Oppenheimer kind of plays out in a sense, where like the last hour of the movie is like the last two acts essentially.
hmm Yeah, because in Oppenheimer, when the bomb goes off, you're still in like another hour.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing that I've talked to people about where they're like, I thought the movie was boring. I'm just like, okay, but did you think the movie was about the bomb? Or did you think the movie was about him? And then whenever they're like, oh, I went to go see the bomb, it's like, well, yeah, you have an hour after that to wind down.
It's called Oppenheimer, not the bomb. Like,
I
yeah, the
don't know
most
how many. I don't know how many reviews I read of people saying like the last hour was unneeded. It's like I think the last hour is probably the most important part. That's
Yeah.
just me.
The most color in this movie comes from the post-it notes.
Yeah. That place, like that little house he's in. Don't get me wrong, it looks nice and cozy, but man, it needs some work.
That's probably why they put him there. No one's been in there in 30 years.
That's their guest house.
Yeah.
Mac Jesus. That's the name of this place, Mac Jesus.
Jesus. Oh God. I also love that right there. So the when we first like saw her when she came into the I guess that's like the news reporting office in the beginning.
Mhm.
The camera was like behind her and she was walking super fast. Like she like knew what she was doing. She was in control. And then as she came up the elevator there, he put the camera in front of her and she was like walking really slowly.
Yeah.
And she was just like knew what she was about to do because she's not in control now.
Very I
I
yeah, I
never
get what
noticed
you
that.
say.
I never noticed that one.
You do get a lot of body language that tells us
Yeah.
kind of
Like now you're the one that's kind of leading her into the room and she doesn't want to go in there. This camera movement is perfect. Like that one right there. You know it's about to happen. That's all you needed. I saw this movie in theaters with like 5 other people in the theater. 2 of them left after this scene.
it's insane to me how many times I've gone to see a movie like a pretty hard R movie and people will leave after like one specific scene. And it's
I
always
mean,
something sexual.
yeah, I could see it if it like traumatizes somebody, why like they just can't, like they need to leave.
Mhm. Did you see Saltburn yet?
I did.
I went and saw it random afternoon. It had been out already for a little bit, and there was one other person in the theater. Bathtub scene happened. She clocked out.
Yeah. I personally didn't think the movie was that intense, but it's probably because 'cause I've seen a lot of movies, but I could see why if some people don't watch a lot of movies, they'd be like, "This is kinda wild."
Yeah. I mean, I understand it though. It's one of the more popular ones right now for like teens
Oh,
to
yeah.
watch, and everybody's
Mhm.
watching it because it's, one of those like I guess you could say like reaction movies, like everyone wants a reaction out of it kind of thing.
Mhm.
But it's like you tell people like, well, I've seen a lot worse than that. They're like, what kind of shit are you watching? The scene after this where she's like in the bathroom, like, what is she doing? She's like washing her mouth out. I can't remember which one it
I
is that
think,
does it. It's either this or the Swedish
I
version,
th
but David Fincher was talking about how they wanted to make it like almost more convincing that she didn't want to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's the Swedish version. The Swedish version, she puts soap in her mouth and just freaking goes for it.
Yeah. I was actually just about to bring that point up. Because I looked it up and he said that he didn't wanna be the same he wanted her to, like, basically spit it up because it would make it different from the Swedish version.
Mhm.
Actually, how they filmed that, she didn't actually puke there. So what they filmed was Fincher standing there and just pouring, like, with a cup, like, that liquid into the toilet, and then essentially they just edited it together to make it look like it was coming out of her mouth.
Hmm. Makes sense.
And all of her piercings are real in this.
Yeah, she did say that like if you watch what's that movie called Una that came out in like 2017 with her and Ben Mendelsohn,
Mhm.
she still has the nipple piercings, and she
Oh,
said
yeah,
it's
she said
because she never wanted to do it again.
oh, yeah. So she's like I think she was basically like, "If we ever make another ones, I'm not doing this again." But then she's like, "Yeah, I just kept them in." I'm like, "All right, Rooney.
Good for her.
Good for you."
That dude from Zodiac, huh? Good for him.
Well, he's gonna solve
Just
the Zodiac murder. Oh,
She
good
thinks
for
she's gonna
her.
do another. She thinks she's gonna do another Girl with the Dragon Tattoo movie. Good for her.
Good for her. Spoiler. Who's that?
He's looking for investment counseling, Pat. It's not a spoiler.
I'm looking for someone that's possibly you. Like then when you watch this again after you know everything that happened, you're like, wow, he like tells you the story like right in front of your face, like her reaction right there. Like
I
after
often find
doing
that a
something right in
lot
their
of mystery
family and
movies tend to do that,
oh yeah,
which
doing
I
something right in
love.
your family and like or like Skarsgård's reaction when the girl like screamed and he said it was the wind. You could see his face was so angry,
Yeah,
like 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 there, like the Harriet close up on her because that's her. Spoiler.
tells us everything we need to know.
Fincher probably like, you idiots! I told you halfway through.
I have a lot of friends who try to like fool me with movies or where they're like, "Oh, there's a huge plot twist at the end," and I always figured out. I always figured out because of shit like that. It's like if you just pay attention to the movie, it will tell you everything you
Yeah.
need to know.
I think I did for this, I didn't figure out that it was her. I figured out the person. I was like, she's probably still alive.
Yeah,
It's a great cardigan. I want to get that cardigan. Love me some cardigans.
can you imagine him wearing that with the IMAX hat?
It's like the ultimate like film like director look at your premiere.
Yeah,
IMAX.
the way Kevin Feige has all those like Marvel hats that keep showing up.
No, it's
That's
like
me with the
dude,
IMAX hat.
it's so funny. 'Cause I think those hats like just don't look good. Like it's like,
Yeah,
yo, Kevin, wear like a different hat, bro. Like you can wear another hat
he's
and
just got
not
a
always
thousand of
be
them in his
Marvel.
closet.
Like thousands of hats of just Marvel logos. But hey, he is the face of Marvel, so
I'm a sucker for some good stair shots, like The Exorcist, dude.
it's an iconic stair shot.
Let me walk up them stairs, boy.
Reset. Go to the top. It's probably her being like, "Oh, I gotta do it again."
She's got a giant kayak in front of that building.
Who is using that in winter, guys? I don't think you're gonna sell. I don't think you're gonna sell this kayak.
The shop
90
owner's like,
oh, so
"Why
it's
are
like
none of my kayaks selling?"
90% off.
That's why it's outside. If you want to take it, you can. Dude, his apartment complex, like even the outside of it looks kind of scary.
Mhm.
Looks like an industrial plant.
Also love about this one, her hood is now up.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It makes her look a little bit more like
More like
she's
she's gonna do something here. Oh wait, no, it's the next one. It's not here. This is not a good scene.
even then though, it still shows us that she's like planning something. And in a way,
Yeah.
she kind of is. She's got the
Oh yeah,
camera in the
she is. She's
bag.
got the camera. Yeah. A little more control, like weight there
Hmm.
until
She's carrying herself in more like relaxed way because I mean,
yeah.
it's like she's saying she's expecting to just do the same thing she did the first time, but then he ends
Yeah.
up taking advantage of everything.
Mhm. Oh, that shot too. Fade to
In the
black.
second and third book, I mean, I guess if you watch the second and third movie, the Swedish version as well, the whole thing with this guy comes back into play a little bit more as well.
Brutal scene.
The score works so well for it too.
Fincher is
I
right
wonder if
behind that. Fincher is right behind that door on the left.
oh, is he?
Yeah, that's where the monitor was. Oh, I couldn't imagine like filming this, like being
Think
the actors.
yeah. I'd imagine that the person who's doing it probably has to like really understand what their career is going to be like after or
Yeah.
prepare for something else. I don't think there's any scenes like this in Game of Thrones, but even the guy that played Joffrey is just an evil dude. So even in the new world, this guy's not very likable.
Close
I
up
got
on that.
I got the criterion for that whenever the last sale happened. And I just started watching it one night and my girlfriend walks in and she's like, "This looks like Pocahontas." And I was like, "It kind of is."
That is Phil
But
Honest.
yeah, she sat down and watched the rest of it with me and she loved it.
I love that movie.
I forget that Christian Bale is in it every time I watch it.
He plays John Smith.
Mm-hmm. I forget the Bible is such a big part of the story too.
Mm-hmm. Forgot how intense that last scene was.
Yeah, that's always like one of those scenes that sticks out. I think anytime that I show this film to anybody or like I recommend it to everybody, like that's always a scene that comes up. They're always like, "Man, that's an intense scene."
Yeah.
This whole movie is very intense. I guess just even cutting back to it, you're like, "Oh man, we're back to this."
Yeah. Good Lord.
You see what I mean? Like, look at the a building; it just looks evil.
Yeah.
It's like the Hunchback of Notre Dame lives there.
I love how like he has it where like there's like nobody on the street too. Like
Yeah,
when
where
she's
she has to like
leaving,
walk home alone.
it's basically just her. Like she's always alone. Even after that, like who's she gonna tell? Like what just happened? She's nobody. 10,000 though. I wonder how long it took her to like land that perfectly.
That shot, this shot of her like laying down in the tub is so freaking cool.
She also lost like weight for this to
That's
get like
hard to. That's
basically for
crazy for me
that
to believe
shot.
because she's already so skinny.
I know. Basically for that shot to get like the bones with the like the dragon tattoo. Like for her like bony like body. Fincher was like, I didn't ask her to lose weight. She just like showed up.
She just wanted to do it one day.
And he's like, okay.
You know that story about Ryan Gosling and the Lovely Bones?
I don't think so.
He was originally cast in the Lovely Bones as
Mark Wahlberg's character, I assume.
I think it was Mark Wahlberg's character. I think it was because he's the dad, and so he the whole thing is that like since he's a dad, he wanted to like look like a dad, and so he
Yeah.
got like he ate like he gained a bunch of weight essentially. And it got to the point where like he was the biggest he'd ever been in his life, and then they recast him with Mark Wahlberg, I believe.
That was probably around the Lars and the Real Girl time because he was kind of big in
Probably
that
around then,
too.
yeah. I don't know why I thought Mark Strong was in that for a second, but then I was like, it's actually Stanley
Yeah,
Tucci.
Stanley Tucci. Yeah.
But then I thought about Mark Strong in Sunshine, which I watched last night, which you don't even realize it's him the whole movie. So you don't really see his face like clearly.
Hmm.
There's this film with Robin Wright in it from like 1994, I think, maybe 96. Her, Sean Penn, and Gary Oldman called State of Grace.
Did Sean
Very
Penn
underseen movie.
Sean
Do
Penn
what?
directed that? No, Sean Penn directed that. No.
He might have, but she's young in it. They're all very young in it,
Yeah,
and she is
they were
just.
married for a long time.
I think they met on the set of that. I could be wrong. 1990s when it came out. Oh no, Phil Johnnow directed it.
Hmm.
Johnno, I could be wrong how to say it, but yeah, that's a very good movie, and it unfortunately just no one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've talked to a single person that's seen that movie.
Yeah, Sean Penn directed one of my favorite movies, Into the Wild.
Yeah, I knew he did that.
Very controversial guy, though. Not a very nice person, but good actor. I love this line too. This is really gonna hurt. Like,
It's right on like the ankle, isn't it?
yeah, like, this is really gonna hurt. Like,
Well, also, I think about it from her perspective. She's really tiny, and she
yeah,
has no meat on her
yeah. It's
bones.
basically just I'm about to carve into your bone, essentially.
I I
Like,
have a tattoo on my ankle right about where she has that one going, and I mean I got some meat on me, you know what I mean? But
mm,
even that one hurt quite a bit.
yeah,
I have one of my ribs, and I think that's probably the one that hurts the most. But also, she has tattoos on her ribs, so I mean, if she could do that, she can sit through the
she's got the
ankle.
dragon tattoo.
She does. She does. There's a what's this film called, or the series in general? I think overseas in Sweden they call this like Millennium One or Two, and then I can't remember
Hmm.
which other country it is, but like men who abuse women or hit women or something like that. It has such a strange title for like other countries.
Oh, you're talking about the movie or?
Like the series in general,
Oh
but
yeah.
like it makes me think of like other movies that have very strange titles depending on where you are.
Hmm.
So like The Hangover in Mexico. I have family in Mexico, and we would talk about like The Hangover, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're talking about what happened yesterday," which in Spanish is "qué pasó ayer,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Is that what it's called here?" Like that's so strange. What is it that Fast and Furious is called in like Japan? Hideo Kojima keeps posting stuff about when he goes to see movies, and I think it's called like Turbo Boost.
Dude, that's what it should be called. Turbo.
Turbo Boost one,
That's so much
Turbo
better than
Boost
Fast and
two,
Furious. Yeah.
two Turbo, two Boost,
Turbo boost.
Turbo Boost, Tokyo Drift, or as they call it, just Drift.
That's Tokyo Drift's Nolan's favorite one.
Dude, okay, I've said it before, but Tokyo Drift would work so well as an anime.
Yeah.
I don't really watch a lot
Didn't they
of.
make like an animated Netflix one?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'll be honest. I don't think I
Like
ever
Dom
watched it.
Toretto's like nephew or something. It's like, all right, we're milking this franchise.
I work with this guy named Dominic, and he drives a really nice car. So whenever I see him, I'll just play that freaking Bandolero song whenever he comes around the corner. And he knows it now, so he's like, "You gotta stop."
I love in like investigating movies.
They always go to the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
There's like little flashbacks. They like to help.
And that shot of him just going inside the door, he probably did like 15 takes of that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it again.
After we watched Zodiac, I went through the featurettes of that, and there's a shot of Jake Gyllenhaal throwing that folder into his
Oh yeah.
passenger seat, and he said, "This is the 30th time."
Oh, he hated working on that.
Did you watch the actors on actors thing with Mark Ruffalo and Robert Downey?
They talked about
They
Zodiac on
talked
there.
about it, yeah.
And it seemed like Ruffalo was like all kind of for it though.
Yeah,
Like
he loved
the
it.
amount it takes. Some actors are and some aren't. Like, um, speaking of Christopher Plummer, because he's in the New World too.
Hmm.
He said he would like at the time he said he would never work with Terrence Malick again, and everyone was like, "Oh, wow, really?" He's like, "It's not because he's not a good director at all. It's because there was like no script, and it was kind of just like he just it's not the style that he did
Like
his
working
entire
in.
life. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he needed the script, he needed the lines, and there really kind of wasn't. Or like Malik would kind of just be like, yeah, just kind of go with what you feel in the scene. He just wasn't about that. He's like, there's
Yeah.
nothing against the guy. It's just that's
When we
just
were
not how I
watching
roll.
when we were
Like,
watching The New World, my girlfriend noticed that. She was like, it has a very surreal style of like
yeah, if you're going in a
editing.
Malik movie, you're gonna probably be doing very experimental stuff.
Have you seen the thing that they said about that film that he has? What's it called? The Way of the Wind. Like how it's just never gonna see the light of day because he
Oh
keeps bringing
yeah,
in new editors.
I know. Malik's wild. I love Malik.
Oh, I love this look that she has going for her
Oh
here.
yeah, and then she did come in with the hood on again, and that
She didn't just come in with the hood; she came in with the eye makeup on
yeah,
too. Like
and
she
then
was
and
ready
the
to.
taser, like I'm gonna ruin you now.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing when she walked in
Yeah,
there.
she has her own DVD menu.
Her own little DVD menu. How many commentary tracks does it have?
Oh, you're so fucked now, dude.
The way that she just sits in the corner smoking too, like she doesn't give
Yeah.
two shits about him right now. The little shadow of the cigarette and the like on
Hmm.
the light with the lamp.
Oof.
The way that she pulled it out, it's like a knife unsheathing.
Yeah. The sound effect. The sound
Yeah.
effect. Yeah.
Oh man. That's kind of crazy to think that we've noticed like what is it, two actors from Game of Thrones and then two actors who are also just in the New World.
Yeah.
Like two actors that worked in the same thing, but then also two that also worked in another similar thing.
Yeah, like the eye makeup. Like it's like she's wearing like goggles.
Yeah. It makes me
Like
think
a
of like a
mask.
raccoon. Like
Yeah.
just a raccoon just being like a little mischievous little guy.
Hmm.
I always thought that that necklace that she has of like the razor blade was so cool.
Hmm.
Says a lot about her as a character, I think. Like that's what she sees as like style for her.
Yeah.
And then her boots too. Like one of them has like duct tape on it.
Yeah, like she could easily probably get issues, but
Yeah.
because she could just hack into someone's like bank, like the bank, and just wire money to herself.
I mean, I kind of get it because I had a
Which I
pair
never
of
like.
boots that I wore for a long time that I did not want to throw away. I would do everything and fix them to just not throw them away.
I always like wondered like because she's like a great like hacker kind of. It's like couldn't she just like hack into someone's bank account and just wire money to herself?
I guess in a way she
I
kind of
guess
does
that's
it
like
at
a
the
it's like a
end.
moral thing where she doesn't want to do that. Like it's
Yeah.
she only wants to take down like bad people when she does that stuff. It makes sense
She's Batman.
because
Think
she's
about
not
it.
like she's not like a I guess that's in a way she is Batman.
I'm not
Just
a criminal.
minus the
I'm
money. Yeah,
Batman. Yeah. I'm no thief.
yeah. So she's not gonna like she's not gonna just like steal from people. Like she only like exposes bad people. Like right now, this guy's a terrible human being.
The that shot where she like turns that thing up all the way to and you can just hear the like the needle going.
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
I always thought of like the next scene of like this guy having to explain this to his wife, like
Yeah.
this tattoo. The same shot as earlier too, and them coming from the door,
Yeah.
but now it's open.
It's like farther away and also yeah, like
Yeah. Who does he see? That'd actually be terrifying if you put those together. Then you saw that. I'd get fucking scared.
Oh yeah, like the two shots of her like
Yeah,
realizing
I
someone's
love
across
the
the
close
street.
up just taking the glasses off.
Now that kind of looks like something you would see in like a noir film. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
If you had this whole thing in
that's
black
like
and
a
white, that
yeah,
shot right there would be like the most iconic shot of the whole
that's like a
film.
40s and 50s like
Yeah. We just don't have
old
a lot
school
of
look.
like films like that anymore.
I
And it's kind of
know.
crazy. Like same thing with Sunshine, because I watched that and I was like, this is kind of similar to Alien, but it's also so fresh and so different.
There's no recovering from that, dude. You are a piece of shit.
I already know that that had to hurt too, just because the first
I
tattoo
mean,
I got was the one on my ribs, and that dude had a hand like a brick.
yeah.
And they put this thing on your like there's this new version of like being able to heal tattoos kind of recently where like it's like a sack and the ink just stays in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there when I took mine off, there was like blood in mine. That dude had a hand like a brick. It was
Oh yeah.
insane.
And I'm sure he just from the pain he just passed out. He didn't even
Oh
finish.
yeah.
This is me going to any function where they start to pray. I'm gonna. Yeah, okay, sorry. I'll wait. I'll respect.
can
Just
we
tell me
can we eat it?
yeah, I'll respect. Just tell me when to eat.
Willem Dafoe and freaking Spider-Man. What I understand, people in Sweden aren't very religious. Seems
Hmm,
like they're much more
interesting.
liberal as well. I had a friend from Sweden that came to my school for like 2 years in a row
Hmm.
because foreign exchange program, whatever. And the first week of school, I remember thinking, surely this guy doesn't speak English. Like, how is he getting around in his classes? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And he spoke perfect English. He was a big Edgar Wright fan as well, and so we kind of bonded on that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I assume English is probably their second language. So majority probably could speak English.
Yeah, he was a cool dude. I miss him.
I saw this little camera movement there, just him picking up the book. It went down and up.
Yeah,
Like he was like, you don't need to do that.
and
Like,
they did that, and I promise you, they did that like 20 times.
oh yeah, I always just like he just does the camera movements just as like the characters even like breathing. He'll like go up with them and down with them. Like
He's a master of his craft.
here's your Bible verses.
Isn't this whenever what's his face has like a heart attack or something?
I think it's coming up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's like right here.
Yeah, literally
Because they're
right
driving towards the
here.
house. They're like, he just had a heart attack.
That's the bridge where the accident happened. You got over there fast. They're on their way out. I was like, he ran fast, man. He catch up to them. I guess it probably is over the span of a year because it looks like it's kind of like summertime almost or spring.
It's definitely not winter anymore.
Yeah, not winter
So
anymore.
no more snow. Probably like April or May.
Yeah. It
But
could
we
be
need
over
it.
the course of a whole year that this takes place.
I want to say it's about that long in the book. I could be wrong though. What they need to do is really like put up like a calendar somewhere so we have an
Yeah.
idea of how long he's been. we need the Gone Girl treatment. 7 days gone,
Or the
31
Zodiac,
days
12
gone.
hours later, 4 days
Yeah.
later, 13 and a half hours later.
For every David Fincher movie that has a timestamp, it's like, where is it for this one? Come on, buddy. You're
Another great
joking.
another great cardigan. He got some great cardigans in this movie.
That's like half the budget went to cardigans. So
His cardigans.
I want to say like maybe $10 went towards this little location, and then the rest of it went to budget.
Yeah.
Half of it went to Daniel Craig. For someone who looks like Daniel Craig does, he looks like the kind of guy that'd go to the library.
Mm-hmm.
Someone should write a book. Someone
Somebody
should
should
write a
start
freaking book, dude. That's a
trying
damn
to
sure.
fucking. I mean, we're an hour and 15 minutes in, and they two main characters haven't even interacted yet.
Yeah, that's crazy. We were watching Batman Begins last night, and it's kind of crazy that that film had such a big impact on like the superhero genre, but also just that it was successful. And you don't see Batman suit up until like an hour into the movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's Elektra.
Oh, it is her. I forgot she's in this. Oh my gosh. That big old bug tattoo on her neck.
Well, now they're gonna meet. So what is it? 1 hour and 16 minutes before they actually meet.
Hour and 17 minutes. It's like halfway through the movie.
Yeah. Look, he even brought coffee. He's nice. Here's a shirt. Fuck you, you fucking
Let's
fuck.
go.
What a shirt. Fuck you, you fucking fuck.
And it's like torn up too. That's what I love
Yeah,
about
that's
it.
why I'm pretty sure it was the costume designer's shirt. That's why
She
it's like
she
so torn up.
this is her favorite shirt. I don't think you get it. Like this is she wears this when she's going to church,
Yeah.
when she's going to the store.
I don't know. He just makes himself at home.
Well,
Sorry,
because
doing a company.
at this point she
She knows
knows who
everything
he
about
is.
him. Yeah. So why can't he know everything about you?
She says we need to talk like they go way back.
Yeah.
We haven't talked since that thing happened. Bro, he could have just let her sleep.
Yeah, I guess he could just close the door. I guess maybe he doesn't want to know what they're talking about.
I suppose so. But I mean, she's asleep. That little nod.
I love the bye. Like,
Awkward conversation. She probably thinks that's his dad.
yeah, or like someone that she knows. Yeah, I guess it could like be her. Like, I guess it
I
could be
mean,
her
technically
dad.
she knows him.
Yeah.
It's interesting in terms of lighting how that shot was, or that like exchange of shots was kind of composed, where like he's dressed very nice, but he's sat in this kind of like ugly greenish color of light, and then she's in this
Hmm.
kind of like more, I guess you could say, like cooler toned color.
Yeah, you can probably read it as like he's trying to like reach out. Like she's still obviously very cold. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing in my
Yeah,
apartment?" Like,
a much
and
more warm
he's being
color.
like, I think we should work together." Essentially, like he's being very open towards her.
Hmm.
Being like, "I'm not gonna harm you at all. Like, I'm a freaking little journalist. You know everything about me. Like, I'm not gonna do anything to you." Like,
She could probably kill him if she wanted to.
yeah, she definitely could. But little does she know that he's James Bond.
Oh, wait, that's The Incredibles. My bad.
So then, like, what close-ups? Now she's in.
She's in. She's like, need more plutonium. She's like, I have the idea for an H bomb. I love the IKEA box in the back too. Oh, we just missed it. I think I noticed it. I saw it. There it is.
Oh yeah, I see it. Oh, she's like, "Don't you need these?" No, I got it. Take them. She just throws them to the side. She already like memorized it. Like,
We
and
don't get
fucking
enough green text in movies anymore either. Ever since The
insert,
Matrix, man.
yeah, insert of like a text that was probably so annoying to film
Yeah.
of typing. See how she like just basically hacked into like the police station. So she easily could have given herself money, but that's her character. She's not like that. She's a moral character.
I like that he just yells cat.
Cat.
Doesn't have a name, just cat.
Cat's gone. Fucking Psycho Up the Hill did something. That was definitely improv.
Ooh. Oh, there he is.
Here's the cat.
Little lad.
He's like,
Licking
I'm
himself clean.
right here, bro.
He's like, where have you been? I
How'd you get
smell a
in here?
bitch on you.
When he's like, how did you get in here?
That is a good question. How did he get in?
Because Skarsgård gets in there, seeing what he was doing.
Didn't even think about letting the cat out. Policen.
Great
He thinks he's
character
gonna
actor
solve the
there.
Zodiac case.
To me on Christmas morning, right there. Cardigan with the those PJs.
It's actually kind of crazy that they released this on Christmas Day. Like, really thinking
I
about it,
know.
it's like, wow, y'all really went for it. I had a poster for this as well as Gone Girl on the Social Network, and then also can't remember which other one of his, but I love this poster that he has for this film.
I was poster was like banned in most countries because
Yeah,
she
because
was.
she's naked in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have like three different ones. So there's that one. I think I have two of those because I used to work in a movie theater, so they just kept all of them together. I have
Hmm.
those. I have the one that's on the cover art for the Blu-ray, and then there's another one that has like the kind of like where it's both of them on the top, the titles in the middle, and then like the bottom part is like the estate.
Hmm.
But I do like the cover art for the Blu-ray one the most. So that was the one that I had up for a very long time. You see that they had to like cut some scene out of Poor Things in the UK.
Oh, really?
It's crazy to think about, especially in this year.
Just wait for the Blu-rays. Won't be cut out of that. You
She
can't
really
smoke.
gave her this look.
You can't smoke in here. It's a hospital. This whole sequence does a little feel like Zodiac. I've heard like going to the police stations and like
Yeah.
investigating.
I think it's just the structure of all these scenes together, like kind of
Hmm.
give it this feel of like they're solving a crime together.
Hmm.
Like Robert Graysmith trying to like, put pieces together.
I mean,
She
they're
shows up at
basically
his door in the middle of the night.
trying to find a serial killer essentially.
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of the same film if you think about it. He's writing a book about somebody he doesn't know,
Hmm.
supposedly.
He lights his face so dark right there.
It
Oh
almost looks like menacing, yeah.
yeah, it's like you when you watch it,
It's
you're like,
almost a,
wow,
it's almost a dead
it's so
giveaway that it's
obvious.
him.
Yeah, you really when you rewatch it, you're like, wow, it's so obvious. Like
In case you didn't get it the first time,
this
here's
guy's
a
bad.
second time.
This guy is bad news. He's like, I gotta worry about another fucking person now. Still lighting him dark, so
He always lights him in like dark, like almost like a
mhm.
silhouette type.
Yeah. Everyone in town knows where you are.
She's like, I know. I wrote a book on you.
I have all your entire bank account of your whole life. And it's wild as someone had to like upload all of these like images like this to like a essentially a PowerPoint probably and like and have them like create this like program for them to use.
Someone
But
from a
go to
production
the
department had to
JPEG.
do this.
Yeah. I mean, to edit this movie must be insane, but it's like at the same time as an editor, you're probably like, yeah, it's a lot of work, but thank God there's so many takes of everything that like
They can just edit around so
yeah,
much.
it's like I mean, I used to make stupid short films in like college and in high school, and you're like, wow, I only did like 2 takes of that, and they both suck. Like, sick. This is gonna be so bad.
It's gonna be
Like,
so much fun to edit.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like like when you're editing it, you're like, wow, both these are so bad. Or you see something in the frame, you're like, God damn it. I don't have any other take of this, or like the audio sucks because you're just like using in camera audio because you don't have the budget for a mic. Like, you're like, oh God, this is so hard. So I understand both sides of the argument of it's a lot of takes, it's a lot of work, but at the end of the day,
He gets a lot of coverage, so
you're getting a
it's
lot
almost
of
like one of those things where
coverage,
you
a
you watch
lot
it
of
and you're like,
footage. Yeah.
you know that you're gonna get something good.
Somewhere at Sony, someone has all of these dailies, all of these, all of this footage. See, now it's starting to get like cold again. So it makes it seem like it's
Yeah. I noticed that whenever he
all
was
coming.
outside talking with Martin again,
Yeah.
he had the scarf on. I was like, he wasn't wearing a scarf earlier,
So
so
now
it's
it's probably getting like fall.
fall or October kind of thing.
Yeah. Or it just gets really fucking cold there at night.
It might be one of those things, yeah.
It is Sweden, so yeah, look at all the cardigans, man. He's got a big budget.
That whole like stack of cardigans right there. Half the budget right there. I think this is where the cat comes in. I could be wrong though.
Outside the door.
Look at those wrist cuffs, dude. She is so cool.
Organize your desktop.
Oh no, she's going through his personal stuff.
Yeah,
They're encrypted, dude. Come on.
please, please. Like took me 15 seconds to figure out your password. Oh yeah, this is. And he goes outside. Yeah, you're right. This is right. It's right here. I love this whole sequence right here of him trying to figure something out, or he like deleted Safari from the dock. Like she's just like, oh my god, this guy's so bad at this.
How do you not know how to use your own computer?
I just a little like if you watched him, he like pulled Safari from the dock and just removed it from the dock. Like she's just like, oh my
You don't even think about it when you're watching. It's just like, oh yeah, he's getting there.
god. Yeah, it's right here because he goes to smoke.
I heard it on your mic for some reason. So as soon as you said it,
Oh jeez, who was just there last night?
she's going to take a picture of it.
Because look how it's like positioned.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of like a swastika almost.
whoever did this got some issues.
Yeah,
It's a family of
fuck.
Nazis.
Bye.
She's so cool.
He rented a car.
Ew.
There's like a sequence where she goes through like the tunnel. I don't know if it's coming up or not, but they shot it. That's in LA. They shot that. And
That's
then
cool.
Fincher was like, "How do we make it look like Sweden?" He's like, "Just put a bunch of Volvos in there." Literally, it's just all Volvos. Like he rented a Volvo. Like because I think that's where those cars are made, or in Sweden. Right here, this is LA. So these are all like Volvos and like Mercedes. So that's how you make it look like it's
Didn't even
Sweden.
notice it.
No. Yeah, it's any tunnels. He wouldn't even notice it, but
You see all the there's still like green on the trees, so it's probably like fall or August or so.
yeah.
Probably like August or September, I bet. Because if it's getting cold at night and he's wearing a cardigan, so it's not too hot. It's chilly every
Yeah.
now and then.
He also has to complete the look of a journalist.
It's always got to have the glasses.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I think I have those photos.
Her decor looks like she hasn't changed anything in like 20
Yeah. He
years.
knows exactly where that photo album is.
How did she know exactly what that was? That's crazy to me. Like I would have had to like go digging for like 20 minutes.
There it is. I'd be like, you can have it. I don't care. Like,
You can take it with you.
yeah. Hmm. I guess you did technically give it to him.
A lot of green in this movie, I've noticed. A lot of greens and yellows.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a greenish tint.
Hmm.
Now that it's not like winter, but it still like makes it seem like it's not hot. Because if you give it a
Yeah,
little, make it a
that's
little warmer, it's gonna. If you make it like more orange, it's gonna.
the beginning of it felt more like it was like a closer to like a yellow.
Yeah.
The pointing to his
Yeah.
head and he flinches.
Stop visiting tattoo removal websites.
And then the door opens and she just like sneaks out.
So terrified. I love it.
Gottfried Wanger, Paterfadranker. Ah, Zen.
There it is. That's where he gets shot at.
I want to say it's like around here, if it's not exactly here. He's going snooping somewhere he shouldn't be.
I think this is like that abandoned house that no one stays in anymore.
And yet somehow this is like nicer than where he's staying at.
Yeah.
Look at that. There's not a single crack in that wall. It's a bit dirty, but you can clean it up.
Harriet.
Oh, yeah, it's like right here. It's like I saw something saying that this was like
Yeah, right
CG.
there. The blood probably was right there.
She looks like Kate there for like a second whenever she's like backing up from the camera.
Mm-hmm. Funny because cameras are so much better now. Those security cameras. It's like you can buy ones that are essentially like
You can
4K.
literally walk into a Best Buy and get one for like
Get like a
$50.
yeah, a Ring camera that looks like 4K.
I feel like that's got a sting.
Oh yeah.
Her putting dental floss to a freaking
Might actually help clean the wound.
yeah, it might.
That'll certainly help.
She just throws on his face. Drink.
Yeah, you're gonna need this as well on the wound and in your body.
I just love that. You're not a doctor.
That would fucking hurt though. Jesus.
Been there for almost a year. He's just realizing this.
Got a lot of moles on his back. Daniel Craig.
He's a big mole guy.
Get them checked out.
It could be cancer.
You never know. What?
He
His
really
face.
had no idea.
His face.
So I'm old and we work together.
James Bond's used to this.
Oh yeah. She keeps the cuffs on too.
He trusts him now.
All the files outside. I think those are like the files that they were looking at.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of bed frame is that? Look at that thing. Just wire.
Oh, she even made breakfast. Look at her. She likes him.
I saw him literally right there.
Yeah.
Not by gun there.
I just missed.
I just missed. I'm gonna be honest with you. Oops. He's literally telling him everything he has.
I always love seeing like this. Like I can clearly hear you. Like,
She's so tiny.
yeah, I wonder how tall. I forget how tall she was when I saw
I'm
her.
gonna guess like 5 feet, just because I don't think
Because you're like
I don't.
5'3", maybe.
Oh, you were right on the money, dude.
Really?
5'3". Yeah, she is 5'3".
How that old MacBook Pro look.
When they used to have USB ports on them.
The good old days. Now you need 18 wires to connect to USB.
Pictures getting tossed around a lot during these scenes kind of make it feel a lot more like a detective movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the thing in Zodiac where they're like going to the pictures, they go into all the files. It's very similar, actually. Now I think about it.
Mm-hmm. Very similar. Especially the second half of this movie.
Oh yeah,
You're right. It's very green
her computer screen is just the
on the nose.
Matrix.
Yeah. Which is funny because sometimes with these Blu-rays, like you'll have this, but then when they do the 4K, like he'll take a lot of the green away if he's ever
Yeah,
like seeing it. Like
if
he'll
that's
make it seem like
if that's the case, then I don't know if if I care about getting the 4K then,
Hmm.
because I don't know how many times I'll get like a 4K for something and it like color grading is completely different and not in a good
Yeah,
way either. Like the Lord of the Rings, every single copy I have of those movies is completely different.
different. Yeah, I still have my Blu-ray copy.
The Blu-rays, the extended cut for the Blu-rays, the extended cut for the 4Ks, every single one looks so different.
Hmm. Yeah, I kept the 4K. We had the 4K, but I kept my Blu-ray extended cut copy too because I wanted both versions. He's a Nazi.
That's why they gave us this like white cold light for
Yeah,
this.
this guy's a piece of shit. Like,
So I thought I was a piece of shit. Damn. This guy was literally evil.
They take place at all of the properties.
He says I don't close my door to anybody. I just don't visit because I'm a freaking Nazi.
Yeah.
This is actually just the ring.
Yeah. And he never shoots them in the same frame in this scene.
It always keeps them separated.
You know,
It's a little smart little move there from
to
Fincher
be like, because
himself.
this guy just like, I'm just investigating this guy, but like, I'm not trying to be on the same wavelength
I
as
don't
this.
personally.
Like,
He's like we're not even on the same
I'm
wavelength.
just here for information, and this guy's a psycho. So she's like, I want to go home.
He works late. She works late.
You can lock up.
All the lens flares on the lights.
Yeah, he's not a big lens flare guy, so it's interesting.
He was saying on the Gongo commentary that he added them on purpose.
I feel like he does that shit just to annoy people. Like, people hate lens flares. I'm gonna add three. Like,
But it's like he's so selective with them. It's like, do you
yeah,
actually want to annoy people or not?
Fincher's like secretly hilarious.
He's such a clown, but also so serious at the same time.
Yeah.
All the newspaper clippings definitely feel like Zodiac again too.
Mm-hmm. Probably don't get libraries like that anymore. Newspaper clippings like that. It's all
Yeah.
online.
I mean, it's also Sweden,
Yeah.
2011. So yeah, it's probably all online now, but for the time, it was probably like right when things were starting
Yeah.
to make a huge switch.
I mean, you'll be able to find old papers like that, but everything now is all media is online, especially news media. I mean, they still make papers, but only for like major publications.
Yeah, shit. Sorry, I sneezed. If you have to edit that out.
You're good. I'll leave it in. We're humans. We all sneeze.
David Fincher probably doesn't. He's too.
I'm sure I've bumped the mic a couple times, so don't worry. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Yeah, I keep saying more lens flares. It's like during this scene
There's
specifically,
that
he
whole
just throws them
scene,
all in
yeah.
there.
I don't mind lens flares.
I don't mind them.
And
I think
they
J.J. Abrams uses them a lot.
yeah. Oh yeah. I think they CGI'd that house in on the top there.
I
It's
wouldn't be
not
surprised if they
not
did.
actually there, yeah.
It's always like the small stuff he CGs for some reason.
It's a lot of question marks.
You and me too, girl.
I think he's putting two and two together. Huh.
She's figured something out. He's figured something out. His birthday was on Christmas. That's the only time. That's the only time he was careless.
The one time.
That's where he shows up to Ruffalo's door. And then his wife's like, "Is he here right now?"
I think this is right here's the last scene they filmed, I think, for like in this area. It was the final stuff they filmed.
It's crazy to think though that like this is kind of the climax of the film, and even after this happens, there's still like 40 minutes left. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, because she does that whole like when she like dresses up like to basically rob like the bank too to expose
Yeah,
like
there's
yeah
still a
like a
lot
whole
that
another
happens
30
after
minutes
this.
after. Yeah.
This truly is Oppie. There's a
Here
whole
comes
other hour
Martin.
after this. Those giant blobs on the wall that people call art. Which like it is art, I get it, but like come on.
It's modern art. Mine a modern home. Gotta have modern art. Well, she
The
just puts
hood
her
going
hood up,
back
yeah,
up, yeah.
puts her hood up and turns away. Ooh,
Uh-oh.
he was coming to kill then.
What is it that she got? She got coffee and something else. Like, is that candy or chocolate or
Right,
something?
candy bar, chocolate bar.
Looks very specific. Looks like
She doesn't have
not an American candy bar is what it
yeah,
is.
Swedish candy bar.
I'm willing to bet their
There's the
candy's better than
rifles.
ours.
There's the rifles.
You got like, is that two like bolts for them? There's one, looks like two of them on one on the bottom too.
I think it was just a shadow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I couldn't
So there's only
tell.
three. I think there's only three. But it was reflecting off of like the desk.
Oh, was it? Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
So it looked like there were six.
This wine collection.
The most expensive wine probably in the world.
I'm starting to gather some wine collection only because we have friends over, and for some reason, everybody in their 20s will bring a bottle of wine,
hmm
and then everybody only drinks one bottle.
See, then you
And
have
so then
five
we're
left.
left with four extra bottles of wine.
Yeah.
People think we have a collection, and then we have friends over again. Same thing happens, so then we end up with 8 bottles.
It's like, no, just we haven't drank them yet. Because when you open a bottle of wine, you kind of have to
You gotta let
finish
it
it,
sit for a
finish
minute.
it
Yeah,
in like a
you gotta
day.
want to finish it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to finish it in like a day, especially red wine. You kind of have to finish that right away. Because other white wines you can put in the fridge and they'll last like a couple days.
You see the way that that door opened, where he opened it and the left side opened with it?
Mm-hmm.
That would piss the shit out of me off. Like that would drive me nuts, knowing that like I opened a door and the other half opens with it. He knows.
I love how he didn't add any like music to this. It's just all silent.
Makes you feel like a little
Because
mouse. Just
most studios would be like, you should add some music here. Studio notes.
this dumb shit just fell. Just tries to play it off
Hey, evening stroll at 11:30. Couldn't sleep.
as if he didn't just go to his house to find him.
Yeah.
He had the gun with him too, so like
Oh yeah, he knew what he was gonna do. Close up. Come on in. Ah, shit.
oh, he's terrified.
Yeah.
He knows that he knows.
And she's gonna figure it out.
And then she'll know.
Martin.
She's getting there. She's getting there.
Like, wait. It's the same fucking thing in the photo.
That's the same guy.
It's Martin. Oh shit.
He's being so condescending here because like he
And
knows that he was snooping around.
then he looks to see his knife. There's like knife's gone. Like right here, I think he looks and sees it.
Oh yeah, like it's missing from the thing.
Yeah. Right there. Like there's like nothing in this guy's house. Like it's just like empty.
He just lives like it's a museum.
Yeah.
I think that's what bothers me about like the layout of a house like that. Because the
Hmm.
whole time that I was staying at that house I mentioned, it felt like cold. Like it felt not cozy. It never felt like I could. It felt like I was walking on eggshells the whole time. Kind of telling of his character whenever he said assistant.
Hmm. Sister walks away.
The, the other guy was also just being kind of a dick. Like he knew that she
Let's
was
go
his
downstairs
assistant.
now. Let's go downstairs.
Just walking around with it.
We know what's going on here.
Bring your drink, leave my knife, he said. He said, you can get shit faced before I kill you. I'd prefer it that way, actually.
Yeah, this is basically like you would think it's the climax, but there's still another 40 minutes. Like
People who didn't like this said, the last hour kind of made me fall asleep.
yeah.
There's not very many basements in Sweden. What do you say? Not many people have any basements in California. I do.
I do. Uh, the wide angle on that.
I
Wide
do.
lens.
Mr. Blomkist, I do the posters myself.
Oh no.
Okay, Jigsaw.
Seriously.
Guy just has like his own little like set for Saw 1.
Oof. Here's your drink again. Like, that you broke.
I just expect him to grab that. Come on, man.
Yeah. How do you expect me to drink this?
That song that plays whenever he's like practicing to get him up. Freaking, what is it? Like Enya?
Oh yeah. I think they were like they had like an iPod on set. They're like, what song would he put on? Like, what's like the creepiest? Like, I think they had other creepy songs, and then like someone like suggested Enya, and they put it on. They're like, yeah, this is fucking weird. Like, but it fits his like vibe. You could see him driving in his Range Rover with like Enya on.
That's so funny.
Like, he even has like liquor down here. Like this, like he just
He does this for fun. Yeah, like this is his
fun.
pastime.
Yeah. Like he'll just watch girls be tortured, and like he's just watching it, watching them hang there, fucked up. He's so good at being like intimidating.
What a creep. What a jerk.
God damn it. She's like right here. Fuck. Like,
Like he knows what I know.
yeah.
I know what he knows. And then Vonger knows what we know. He's so calm about it too. Like it's so evil.
Mm-hmm. See, even the camera he's using, Sony. Product placement. They don't even make cameras like that anymore. I don't think. It's like a full on like
It's like a
video
very
camera.
specific type of camera, yeah.
Yeah. It's like a full on video camera still.
He likes the film look more.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big VHS guy.
His own little collection.
Yeah.
The hand
But
sanitizer. Oh
I know.
my
I love how
god.
like he tortures people, but he kind of like still like a germaphobe in a way. It's been sucked to sitting in this like harness all day, not filming. Back hurts, and with like the neck brace.
Then I think the neck brace is probably what would suck the most.
Yeah.
I had a friend who broke his like he had to wear a neck brace for a while, and I put it on just to see how it felt whenever he was like kind of getting better.
Because you have to like sleep with that on. Like,
Yeah. I put it on for like 2 seconds and I was like, nope, never. I'm glad that would never happen to me
not for
again.
me.
Personally, I'd rather die.
Shit. Right here.
Yeah. So,
Say hello.
all those tools over there in the back that kind of get me, like the
Oh yeah, like he chops up bodies and shit. Yeah, basically there was like a girl in that cage. Like Jesus Christ.
his entire demeanor changes here too.
Oh yeah.
Like he was pretty calm. Like it seems like this is something he pretty commonly does, and then he just gets angry.
Mention his like sister and I'll like set him off. So calm.
He's trying his best. He's trying to get out of that thing. I already know it, but I mean,
For that shot right there, they put the bag over like the camera lens and they used like a vacuum. And they would turn it on and off and it
it's actually really cool.
would
Very good effect.
He doesn't know what to do.
It's like practicing. He doesn't want to throw his back
Oh,
out.
fucking 9 iron to the face. Good lord. That'll fucking kill you.
I'm pretty sure he like gets away, doesn't he? Oh, dude, get off that.
He like stumbles out. Like his like jaw's like completely broken.
My
Another
freaking
only
cat.
one handheld shots there.
My freaking cat just walked all over my keyboard. That's what you might have heard it for a second. I was like, dude, what you doing?
The time he uses the handheld right here.
It works. He very sparingly uses his handhelds.
Yeah, he only uses
That's
it when
Martin
it's like
Padilla.
completely necessary. And now it kind of is. Now it's kind of now you're kind of in like a chase movie. Oh, I'm gonna fucking get you.
I love this sequence. Oh,
His
dude,
like
he looks like shit.
his face is just like torn up, jaws completely shattered.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, he took a fucking either pitching wedge or 9 iron to like face. Oh, I mean, that would kill you if you hit him up in the head more, not his jaw. He's dead.
It looked like she hit more of his jaw than anything, but
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it looks.
I
I'm
mean, he's
surprised
definitely
he's
got a
still alive.
massive concussion.
That shot with the bike coming up on the vehicle is so cool.
Hmm. Yeah, obviously CGI her face on, but not bad CGI.
I mean, it's so quick you don't even notice it.
Yeah. I also love this because like in most movies, he would be like a thing where she would walk up and like he would either be stumbling out of the car still,
Yeah.
but instead it's just like
She
nope,
doesn't even
boom.
get to.
Yeah, like nope, boom. Like
It almost like takes that away from her in a
yeah,
sense.
like she's like, well, great shot.
Puts the
No,
gun back.
he's dead. No longer need to worry about him. Yeah, man, your nephew, fucking psycho.
So you figure it out.
Figure it out, and I don't know how you didn't know it was that him because that dude's a psycho. He's also dead now.
Can you
Tried to
imagine
kill
telling
himself.
him like he's like I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty sure I knew from the minute I met him.
Yeah, I just needed you to confirm. I'm too old because he would have just killed me. Well, wouldn't it have been like, first of all, isn't the girl he like that he was kind of dating, like, wouldn't she like suspect that he's kind of crazy? Like, she probably went down in the basement once. Like, and also, like, it wouldn't it be obvious if you just killed the guy investigating your family? Like, okay, well, clearly someone in the family is the murderer. Like, you just killed the investigator. Like,
Yeah, this whole you boast about how private the estate is, and then all of a sudden you have someone trying to shoot the guy who's investigating the family. It's like I wonder who it is.
yeah, there's still another like 30 minutes.
Yeah. This is where you start to get like a lot of good closure though.
Hmm.
The film strangely, like I mean, it's paced so well, but it's also structured really well in the fact that, like, yeah, they found out who it was, but even though you know who it is, it's like, no, we can't leave this here like this. Like we still have a lot to figure out here.
Hmm. Oof. The actual like photos. She did get away.
This is like the shittiest he looks in the whole movie.
Oh
It's
yeah.
so funny to me. I mean, I get it. You're putting a
Like
brace. You're about to
tortured
be killed. Like
basically.
his neck is just fucking bruised.
Yeah. Oh, there's a voice.
There he is. 9 Inch Nails.
He's just a whole row to himself.
Oh, I forgot why they took him with him is because he could hack her network or whatever,
Hmm.
or he could. He's
He's
the one
like
that
kind of part of like helps like with the hacking. Yeah, I think you're right.
Ocean's 14.
Like they're in the house. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about this whole dude being there.
They're
Which,
basically
like,
trying to like confirm. Like, yeah, it's like it's her.
he has a really weird name in this movie. I can't forget what. I forget what his role is called. It's like a really specific name, like Meatloaf or something. Oh, Plague. His name is
Plague.
Plague.
That's a sick name. Plague.
It's my friend Plague.
I guess it's like is his nickname Plague because he can just like destroy your network in a second, like with a plague of virus. Close up. What do you mean? Because it's more intimate. Because it is her, so you shoot them close up.
He knows. He
She
knows
had
it's
more of a
her.
reaction. Gotcha.
Lens flare. That like small little lens flare.
Yeah, they just like watch her.
They're like seeing like what she's on. Top bargains, and then she goes to like find out about her brother.
Yeah, or cousin or whatever.
Oh yeah, cousin, my bad.
Hey, they're just like she's just playing solitaire.
She is Harriet.
She is Harriet. You're right.
He's so bothered. Like he's still trying to figure this out.
Hello, Harriet.
She hangs up the phone so quickly.
Harriet. No, you're right, brother.
That's why I thought I was right.
Yeah.
Even when I wasn't right, I was right.
Oh yeah, because they originally thought it was cousin. That's why.
The
'Cause
movie kind
they
of
thought
fools you.
she was the cousin to call Harriet, and he's like, "Well, the only reason she's not calling Harriet is she is Harriet." Your brother was a psycho.
Now he's getting all the juice. You put them together.
You got me. I'm Harriet. I'll tell you everything you need to know.
She's like, I'm not Harriet, but even if I was, I wouldn't tell you. There's like this little like short like flashback that they do that always looks so good too.
Mm-hmm. And her uncle was a protector. I always felt like Christopher Plummer character like kind of knew that like she was like sexually abused.
Yeah. But it's like I
That's
don't
why.
blame him. Like he wants to see her again,
Yeah,
100%.
and that's why like he wanted to know why. Like he probably thought she was murdered because she didn't want to be abused anymore, and she kind of tried to run away. But I always thought that he kind of like knew what was going on, but he tried to protect her.
Max shattered him with the freaking oar. It's like those things are heavy, bro.
That'll kill you. Drowns him.
It's very satisfying to see the dude taking pictures on the balcony
Mm-hmm.
and
And
knowing
then like
that like we see
seeing,
the pictures earlier.
yeah, and then seeing that photo being taken, you see like the photos that you've seen
This
throughout the
almost
entire
feels
movie.
more like the mystery that you're kind of going after the whole film. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, you do get some closure with Martin to an extent, but this really does feel like the climax.
Yeah.
Smuggled her out of there.
That bridge is almost a character in this movie.
Yeah, it feels very
Crossed it
much
so
like
many
it.
times. They've shown at least 10, 15 times. Probably 10. Crossing, just going back and forth.
Going back and forth, showing like the I guess the relationship to the island and to the rest of the people.
Probably one way on and one way out. She's like, ugh, you done this conversation yet? Bored.
There we go.
Hmm.
There's the juice, buddy.
Everything on that guy, he's just embezzling money.
Which, like, yeah, he gives him all that, but
Yeah.
also she also like does so much for him at the end of the film,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just like leaves her in the dust.
That's a good actor.
She just checks out.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't do this shit.
We concluded that story.
He pretty much says everything's useless.
Yeah, it's like this is beyond. Yeah, it's been like 30. Like you can't like try him on this. It's too long of a time. That's very true. It's a great line.
What a politic opinion
Celebrates.
celebrates bad behavior. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's literally how the media is portrayed now. Look at the orange man running for president again.
The orange man.
That guy. Can't stand him. She's like, I'll do it. Just give me the goddamn book. Like, you're so bad at this. I'll fucking do it myself.
She's like, I will literally do anything, and you will sit back and just let him do
Yeah.
it.
Do they end up like I feel like I remember this read the synopsis of the second one. Is that when she's like on trial? Or is it the third one
That's the third one where she's on trial.
for like
But
murder?
yeah, it's more or less for something that happens in the second movie, but also a good portion of what happens in this
Yeah.
movie.
Maybe I'll
Just a
read the
lot of
book.
what happens in the first two leads up to the third book, which makes it a very good,
Hmm.
satisfying conclusion.
Maybe I'll read the books.
They're phenomenal, incredible books.
Because are they the only books that he wrote? Is Stieg Larsson?
I believe so. And then even then, the third book he technically didn't finish, but
Oh
like
yeah, it died
it
after he came
was
out. Yeah,
yeah, it was pretty close to like having been out already. And then I mean, he's
someone
pretty
probably came in
much
and like finished it for him.
yeah. It was kind of a Stanley Kubrick Eyes Wide Shut where
Yeah,
they knew what he wanted. It was just a matter of like putting it into
I think
writing. But
I
then
think Spielberg helped edit Eyes Wide Shut to like finish it because Kubrick was gonna make AI after um Eyes Wide Shut, but he died. So Kubrick like co-wrote AI, Spielberg's AI.
that magazine is huge.
Speaking of, way past more in the newspapers is magazines.
Yeah,
I feel like physical newspapers will still always kind of be around, like a New York Times or like those big publications. But
big publications definitely will, but it's
yeah,
only because that's such a big part of like the New York culture. Same thing
yeah,
with
like
like
New York Times
LA.
is an iconic newspaper. L.A. Times.
It's like, let me just grab
Uh,
my
uh,
wallet real
I
fast.
don't have that amount of money. I'm sorry.
She's like that weird cousin you have in your family. I can take
Yeah,
three
she's like,
thousand and turn it into 10,000.
yeah, yeah. She's like, okay, and she's like, oh, okay, that's it. Like,
She's never had that kind of trust before.
yeah, like,
Is
okay,
what's kind of crazy about that whole
yeah, because
interaction
she's
is that like
scared.
on one hand she's scared of asking for it, but it's
Yeah.
also like he was so just all the Sony TVs.
There he is. There's Plague.
Plague. This is my
About
cousin
to
Plague.
about to release another Plague.
She stands out about like around everybody as well in that shot. Just
Mhm.
the only person wearing white in that shot. Here too.
She looks like she's super rich.
She knows it too.
Yeah. I'll get your 50,000 back. Don't worry. Give me like a week.
Something slight.
Insider trading.
This is just a slow Tuesday for her too. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
This is just some slight she could do at home.
This is easy.
She works remotely from home. Cronenfield. That's kind of funny.
Hmm. They're just like bonds. There's just so much money on her. Like
Insane.
that's so much money right there.
All those files she just has around her, and then she's also
Yeah.
just eating like a happy meal. I'm pretty sure in one of these shots
Yeah.
as she's committing like these just massive crimes.
Massive insider trading crimes. You just I'm gonna get a happy meal.
This is kind of, if you think about it, like what they're doing in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
And
I
she
mean, this
is going
shit.
out of her way to eat a happy meal with like
Yeah.
6 chicken McNuggets.
I mean, this shit happens like daily, and just like it just never is reported. Jesus.
There it is.
Oh yeah,
It's too good. Every time I watch this, I think about that.
happy meal. I mean, you'll never find her. You'll never find that blonde woman.
There she is. I wonder if she's gonna hang out with Plague tonight. Have some beers.
Her and Plague are gonna play some They look. They could probably play some PC games on the side together.
They look like her and Plague look like they hang out and play Dungeons and Dragons together.
Oh yeah.
The way his glasses hang on his face, like it's such a writer thing.
Oh yeah. There's Joel Kinnaman again.
Joel
Yeah.
Kinnaman.
He really, he
Yeah.
really doesn't have one line in this movie.
He knows it was her too. That's what's crazy.
Yeah. Here's her check.
And she gets that suit for him, bro.
She likes you.
He says I quit as his I don't even know what to call her. Lady he's sleeping with is watching from the window.
Her
As is
boss.
Robin Wright.
His boss. He probably only smokes when he's like investigating something.
Well, in the novel, the whole thing is that he like had quit smoking from the beginning.
Mm.
And I remember watching this with the commentary once, and the opening scene. I mean, we kind of brushed past it, but
Oh, he
there's a
does have a
scene where
line.
she's got
He
to
has
call
one
into the
line.
office. But yeah, in the opening scene, whenever he's talking about, he goes to that like store and he asks him for a cigarette. David Fincher was saying like, how do we show that he's quit, but he's letting himself indulge
Oh,
for
yeah, he only
once?
just does one. Yeah,
He grabs like one and then he throws the whole
he
pack
throws
away.
us
Yeah,
away. That's good. That's a good character. Like,
well, good character thing. Yeah,
you know, it's like when you're drinking. Oh, I only smoke when I drink. I'll have one cigarette.
it doesn't
Oh, no.
count. It
It really
doesn't
doesn't
count
count, right?
if you're
Yeah.
drinking. Yeah,
It's like the worst thing to do.
it doesn't count because if you have one, you're probably gonna have a second one.
Yeah.
Classic gangland execution. That's crazy.
Jesus. Or the
This is the
people
same
that.
coffee shop from earlier too,
Mhm.
where he bought the cigs.
And where that same guy basically tried to bring him down because of his article.
Oh yeah. Kind of a good reflection, if anything. Or I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Good bookend.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what she wrote him. You never do find out.
Nope.
Glad I chose to watch this in here. This looks really good on the OLED.
I hope they release a 4K of this.
I do too. If they do, they better leave that color grading
This and
untouched.
they need a panic room.
Yeah, I haven't seen Panic Room in forever.
Damn.
It's been a minute since I've seen Jared Leto with those dreadlocks or those cornrows. I think actually, it's not dreadlocks. It's like
No, it's
cornrows, isn't it?
cornrows. It's cornrows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how much I didn't remember that movie. Is that
I
just
love that
Jared
movie.
Leto and anything he's in is just looks so different.
Yeah. Damn.
Shit, you go, girl. He doesn't deserve you.
Yeah. He doesn't.
And this is such a good ending too. Like that's really
Yeah.
just a good, satisfying. I would have liked to have
You
gotten
can
two
end
and
it
three.
there, like even if they never did 2 and 3, you can end it there. It's like she never saw him again, and that was it. Like you can end it like exactly like that.
That was
Obviously, there's
solid.
2 more books,
That was
but
solid. Ugh.
great movie.
Plague. Midnight
Plague
Tony
is the
Way.
backbone of the franchise.
Oh man, Tack at Mac Jesus. We got who else? We got Hardware Clerk, Tech Clerk, Junkie. We got a few tailors, a few reporters, Annika, Book of Death Victim.
Oof. That's your only credit. Book of Death Victim.
I'm gonna be honest. Plague is probably the coolest name in there.
Like, what a name. This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.